People know how to lose belly fat. Caloric deficit, high protein diet, resistance training, walking. But everyone knows, why do 93% of people still fail? The truth is that you're part of the 93%, and it's not your fault. You're just not being shown the full picture. I was part of that 93% until I finally discovered these 3 simple keys, which allowed me to unlock my diamond form, allowing me to easily move into that 7%. I finally got lean, and I could do it again and again and again. I put these 3 keys to the test with my own clients, the thousands that I've helped. Dwayne, 80 years young, after I gave him 3 keys, he saw his abs for the first time in his 80 years of life, and he reached his diamond form. Dominic, 60 years young, he got to his diamond form using the 3 keys. Sandra, over 50 pounds of fat she needed to lose, she reached her diamond form. Harry, Hallie, Jasmine, Tori, Gary, all the clients that I've worked with reached it once they had these 3 keys and hitting their diamond form, which is that 10 to 15% sustainably and staying there. Key number 1.
Key number 1, the clarity of why. You can figure this part out. Your belly fat will be gone. The only thing in your way is time. Why is clarity so important? Before you can take care of your physical appearance, you must be able to take care of your mental appearance. With a clarity of why, this is going to be the mental aspect which nobody speaks about on YouTube, and this is why I'm putting it first. When it comes to being able to release your belly fat and lose your belly fat, it comes with having to be able to make a decision each and every single day, even in difficult times. And for myself and for all of my clients, when they could answer why they're doing what they're doing, when they could definitely answer it with a definite purpose and a definite plan, they always lost their belly fat 100%. So when we think of why do you want to lose your belly fat? And that just sounds like a silly question. But what that question is trying to uncover is pain. Let me explain. Pain can be put into 2 different things. You're watching this video because you want to release this belly fat. That's a pain. And maybe you'll watch this video or you'll watch something on Instagram, and that will give you this extrinsic motivation, right? And we know that motivation is not infinite, but intrinsic motivation is the motivation from within. And it's going to be that reason that's going to push you even when things are difficult, and it's your internal why. And when it comes to pain, what really moves a person is, okay, why do I want to lose my belly fat? And this is what real pain looks like. For me in the past, it's because I hated being overlooked. I hated being made fun of, and I just felt that I didn't exist. And a lot of the times, if you think about it, revenge body is a real thing. People typically lose weight because of the pain of this person leaving them, because of the way they looked. And it's the person you love the most, and that's painful. If you've ever gone through a breakup, you know how painful that is. If your physique is part of it, that's usually such a strong motivator. And you know that person who has that pain because they went through this breakup, they're gonna do whatever is needed so that they can lose their belly fat. For a lot of you, it may be your health is now at risk. You may not be able to be with your kids, your wife, your friends, your mom, your dad anymore, because now you've put your health at risk because of this belly fat that you have, this visceral fat. So you need to uncover what your true pain is. And I go through this all the time, rediscovering my pain. How you should do this is you need to go away, go into a place that's, lock yourself away, put yourself in a room, put yourself in an office, go to a coffee store and just put in noise canceling headphones. Use your phone, even better, write it on a book. And I want you to write down why you want to lose your belly fat. And maybe even make sure that you set yourself the goal of writing 30 points. And the first 5 things that you write is probably the shallow shit. But as you go deeper into that list, you'll truly understand why. Maybe you want your team at your company to respect you more. Maybe you notice every time someone looks at you, they can't look you in the eyes because your chin and your neck are blended. Maybe you know that you hate the way you look in the mirror. You're not looking in the mirror anymore because you're embarrassed. And usually once you write these things down and you almost have this realization of why it's so important for you to lose your belly fat, this will always give you this clarity of why you want to lose your belly fat. And that's going to be your intrinsic motivation moving forward. Every time from that point forward, when you go to Thanksgiving and they're like, hey, have this meal, hey, let's have this cake, let's have this dessert together, you're going to think back to that pain because it's going to be at the top of your mind. It's going to be at the top of your cortex. And you're going to say, no, I'm good on that. Or when someone pours you Coke that's regular Coke, you're gonna be like, hey, do you have zero actually? Because it's gonna be at the top of your mind because you're gonna think of that pain and it will drive you. It is such a strong driver. And pain typically makes someone stronger or makes someone weaker, and you need to decide what you're going to use that pain with. Now, let's say you don't have a pain. The second thing you can use is what's called an unfulfilled desire. And this is exactly what I did. So after I lost my belly fat the first time in 2015, I got fat again and I was like, I kind of did it. So what should I do now? And I was like, I want to compete. And I made becoming a men's physique champion this unfulfilled desire. I came fourth in my first show and I was embarrassed and I was like, I need to win. And then I came first. And then I was like, okay, what now? And then I said, I want to become a pro. And it took years and years, but I chased it and I became a pro. So you can also use an unfulfilled desire as a why. And when you have a strong why, everything else I'm gonna share with you is easy. This is the hardest part. And this is why people, like for everyone who comments, oh, you're making the same, people struggle with this and it's causing them their health in the future. I see so many people in the hospital. I digress. You need to clearly have a very strong why. And if you don't have one, create one. It can be a competition you set yourself up with. I promise you, you will not want to be embarrassed and invite all of your family. You can make an announcement, tell everyone on social media, hey, this is what I'm going to do in 2025, and share it every day. I promise you, you will show up. Make a bet with your friends. Whatever it is that is going to drive you, you need to find this intrinsic motivation that will be a reminder consistently. And once you have this clarity, you will definitely reach what your true purpose is with releasing the belly fat and unleashing your other self. And why this is so important is this entire concept comes from the author Simon Sinek, which is derived from neurolinguistics programming. And another famous author, James Clear, Simon calls it their why, and James Clear calls it their identity. And once you consistently do these things every day, you're casting a vote for your new identity. And in a month from now, your identity will be the person who doesn't drink alcohol anymore. And I did that. It's been 700 days since I've had a drink because I said this is my new identity. Let's move on into the second key that's extremely important, but you need to unlock the first key first. Key number 2 is the discipline of how. Now that you understand why you want to climb Mount Everest, all the risks associated, all the difficulties you're going to endure, you need to now learn what tools you're going to use and how you're going to do it. How are you going to go from the base of this mountain and reach the summit? And the same applies with using a car analogy. Now that you know that you're going to use this jet fuel, you need to decide what Ferrari you want to drive to reach your final destination. And this is how we're going to do it. And all I want you to do is remember this thing called the big 3. The big 3 includes sleep, steps, macros, SSM. If you do this in a disciplined fashion every day, you will hit your goal. Forget all the nonsense on all the videos you're on YouTube that is telling you to do keto and all these crazy things. They all follow the same principles. Let me tell you exactly how to do it. With sleep, I want you to minimum get 7 hours. You can use an Apple Watch to track your sleep. You can use apps like Pillow. You can use apps like Auto Sleep. I have a thing called 8 Sleep. This took very long to do, but I worked my way up, and I want you to get 7 hours minimum. And as you can see, I've done 7 hours and a half today. Yesterday, I did 8 hours and 2 minutes exactly. On Sunday, I did 8 hours and 34 minutes. On Thursday, I did 8 hours and 30 minutes. And on Wednesday, I hit 6 hours 53. Tuesday, 6 hours 43. Last Monday, November 11th, I did 5 hours. And that happens. No biggie. As long as I'm doing my best. Last Sunday, November 10th, I did 7 hours and 6 minutes. So what I want you to do is see how many hours you've been sleeping. And for you to be able to tick this box every day of the big 3 with sleep, I want you to be within 15 minutes range of your goal. So let's say you've identified you're sleeping 6 hours and a half. I want you to set a goal of 7 hours. Let's say you've been sleeping 7 hours. Set the goal for 7 hours and 30 minutes. And with discipline, sleep that same amount every day. It will enhance your ability to stick to your diet, to do everything, to improve your testosterone levels. This video isn't about why it's important. I'm just telling you, you need to sleep 7 hours. And just follow the simple formula of 10-3-2-1. 10 hours before bed, make sure you stop drinking caffeine. So if you want to go to bed at 10 p.m., at 12 o'clock midday, 10 hours before, no more caffeine. 3 hours before bed should be your last meal. This is so that you're not digesting while you're trying to fall asleep. 2 hours before bed, no more liquids. And you can sip, but don't drink a lot. We don't want to wake up at night to pee. And if you're peeing at night, that's likely why. Mind you, these are like the base. You can shift these numbers more. You can make it 11 hours. You can make it 4 hours before your first meal. 1 hour before bed, no more blue light exposure. All these lights, they emit the same light as the ones at the sun that stop the production of melatonin. So follow that 10, 3, 2, 1 and find 7 hours of sleep. The second thing in SSM and the big three that I want you to tick every day, this is all you need to do every day, is I want you to walk 2,000 more steps than you already have. So how to figure out how many steps you've been doing? All you should do is, if you're on Samsung Health, open the Health app. If you're on Apple, I just want you to type in Health and you'll see this icon that's popping on your screen. And I want you to scroll down and you'll see this tab here called Steps. And I want you to hit W, let mine just populate, and it will show you here at the very top, my average has been 15,486 steps. My monthly average is 15,589 steps. So look at what your weekly and monthly average is. Let's say it's 8,000, then do 2,000 steps more. And then every day, if it's 8,000, I want you to hit 10,000 daily steps. And I want you to have plus minus 1,000 of deciding to tick this box to make the decision if you hit that box. So just hit 2,000 more steps than what you've already been doing. If you've been doing 5,000, I want you to hit 2,000 more steps. And the easy math to be able to make sure that you're disciplined in doing this is 10 minutes of walking will give you 1,000 steps. So if you're at 8,000, to get 10,000, it means you just need 20 more minutes of walking. That all that means is when you're at the gym, before your workout, just walk 20 more minutes. Or you can walk 10 minutes as a warm-up before training and 10 minutes as a warm-down. And just do that every day. Be disciplined. And I want to show you guys. Right now, we're doing a step challenge at the company. Just look at everybody before you guys have excuses. These are the busiest people you can imagine, right? So yesterday, our top client did 30,000 steps. And as you guys can see, I hit 18,900. This week, you can see our top client did 24,000 steps on average, right? I've done 17,200 this week on average in our step challenge. But you can even see in our top 10, the client that's done the least, it's 13,700. And so far this month, right, I'm at 6th place at 16,800. So thinking back to like the challenges I was talking about, you can create one. This app here is called Step Up. And I just wanted to show you how many people. So number 16 in our challenge right now is hitting 11,600. The person at 17th place is hitting 9,568 steps on average every day. So you can definitely do it. And it just goes to show how consistent people are in my program. And that's all you need to do. Just do it every day. Be disciplined on how you get your steps. Steps will help you burn more fat. Steps tap mainly into fat stores. Steps will allow you to be recovered much more quickly. In my experience, be the thing that beats every other form of cardio. Because I can definitely say you can walk every day compared to you can run 365 days. Steps will always beat the runner because steps is just so much more easy. And then finally with macros, and this is the most important, and we know diet is king. And if you want to follow your diet the best, I'm going to show you the easiest way to make sure that you build your own diet. So take a pen and paper right now and just follow exactly what I say. We have seen, and even I on this very channel has shared the more complicated versions of how to do this in terms of how to figure out your diet. But it's very simple, and I've done it the more complicated ways and the simple ways, and they work exactly the same. What's important here is not the theory, but putting it into practice. You need to put it into practice to truly see if it works. Forget the science, just do it, right? Just like Nike is. So you can use this formula to be able to figure out how many calories you need. So to figure out your calories to lose weight, you should multiply your current weight by 12 to 13, right? So if you want to figure out what your caloric deficit is, take your weight, let's say 200 pounds, and multiply it by 12 if you want a more aggressive deficit. If you want a less aggressive deficit, you can multiply it by 13. If you want to figure out your calories to maintain your weight, then multiply it by 14 to 15, one of those two numbers. And if you want to gain weight, you want to take your weight and multiply it by 16 to 17. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to use myself as an example. Right now, my weight is 180 pounds. I'll take 180 180 and I want to figure out how many calories I should be eating to be in a caloric deficit. I'm going to take 180 multiplied by 12, right? Because I want to lose weight. And I'm sure you guys will put 12 because I know you want to lose weight quickly. So my calories are 2,160. That's how many calories I should be eating to lose weight. And honestly, that is pretty accurate because I'm actually running my own calories right now. I'm actually eating 2,000, but that's because I've been dropping my calories a lot. But this works. As week one, this works. So now we have calories, but I told you to figure out your macros. So you may be asking, Mike, okay, I want my macros, like help me. Honestly, what we used to do in the past 5-8 years ago, before we used to get nitty gritty and use apps, we would just use a thing called the 40-40-20 rule. 40% of your total calories towards protein, 40% towards carbs, 20% towards fats. And I'm telling you, this works. Right? So if my calories are 2,160, to figure out how much protein I should be eating, I should multiply it by 40%, which is 0.4, and that gives me 864 calories. Now to figure out how much protein that is, we know that 1 gram of protein is equivalent to 4 calories. So we have 864 calories. To figure out how much protein that is, we just divide it by 4, which is 216. So I need to eat 216 grams of protein. No problem. I'm just going to do that. And then we need to figure out my carbs. And 40-40-20, we know 40% of 2,160 is 864 divided by 4. So I should eat 216 protein, 216 carbs. And then for fats, we'll go again 2160, multiply that by 0.2 because it's 40-40-20, that's 20%. That's 432 grams of fat. We know that 1 gram of fat is equal to 9 calories. Just divide that by 9. And I need to eat 48 grams. So those are my macros. 216 carb, 216 protein, 48 fat. And again, the point I want to make is those specific numbers aren't magical. You just need to put it into practice and eat that every day. So once you have those calories, just track on an app like MyFitnessPal, Lose It. Jeff Nippard has one, another content creator. I'm not affiliated. He always tells people to scan a barcode and that app will actually figure out what calories you should be. I think you can get it 2 weeks for free. Use that. But what's important is that you track your diet, track 1 day, just track 1 day and eat the same food every day for 7 days. And before you're like, hey, I'm a foodie, I can't eat the same food, go back to the clarity of why. Why are you doing this? And you'll just realize you're complicating things for yourself. Eat the same food every day. And then once you get through the habit, once you build this discipline, then start playing around with it, but make it as simple as possible. Stop complicating. Eat the same food. And if you need to, find a compromise, do it 3 days, do 1 meal plan for 3 days and then change it after 3 days. But I highly recommend just eat the same food for 7 days. Make that a challenge. It's not going to be the hardest thing you do. Make sure you hit those targets. Sleep, steps, macros. And then the fourth thing that you can add is the training. But most of the time people do that. And because you guys have been sticking around with me because you really want this, I'm going to give you a 3-day training plan, a 4-day plan, a 5-day plan on screen because I want you to win for 2025. And all I want you to do in return is just leave the video the thumbs up. Let's move on. I totally understand if you've tried these disciplines and it just didn't work. I have seen with people who are 30 years older and above, it becomes very difficult. For women, you may be dealing with perimenopausal symptoms, hot flushes, you're struggling to sleep. With men, our testosterone is declining. Research has shown this by 1%. We're sleeping less, we're more stressed. If you're a business owner, you're a doctor, an entrepreneur, you're CEO, you finally want someone to figure this stuff out. You don't have the time. And you want to be able to get your energy back, look better for 2025, this is the time. Just fill out the application in the description below. Tell me why you want to work with us, with my team of medical doctors, and we'll reach out to you and we'll come up with a plan to be able to help you. Let's move on. Key number 3 that you need is consistency of what? Let me explain. Simon Sinek uses this great example. You go to the gym every day, right? It's day 1, you go in the gym and you train for 1 hour and you look in the mirror and you see no different. You go the next day, you train for an hour and you see no different. You go the 3rd day, you train for an hour and what happens? In the mirror, you see no difference. So because you see no difference, that doesn't work? No, it does work. You just need to string consistently the act of working 30 minutes to an hour every day. It's not the independent time of you working, it's stringing these events of working out 5 times, whatever you've consistently agreed to every day. that will give you a result. After 1 month, you will see that, and you know that this works. So you consistently need to do this practice that you made an agreement to in the beginning. And the same applies with dieting. You know, if you follow the diet once the right way, it doesn't make a difference. Maybe on the day 3, you said, hey, Mike, I ate the same food for 3 days in a row and I don't see a difference. But you know that if you follow it for a month consistently, you will likely see a difference. So you consistently need to do the things you've set out yourself to do every day to finally see a result. And you need to stack one win on top of the other. You need to cast this vote for steps, sleep, and macros every day. And if you fail one day, or if you have a cheat meal one day, or if something doesn't go your way one day, that doesn't matter. As long as at the end of the month, there is more votes than there isn't. And my advice to you is don't fail 2 times in a row. Make that a goal. And if you make that a goal in 30 days, you would have at least gotten 50%. You would have gotten a grade of 15%. And then in month 2, make sure that you do 16. Make sure that you say, okay, I'm gonna only fail every 3 days. And you'll see that there'll be progress. So you consistently need to stack these wins to be able to create a new identity. So the things in what I do consistently, to give you an example, every day I wake up the same time, I walk my dogs in the morning, and that gives me 4,000 steps, about 40 minutes. I do 30 minutes of cardio on the treadmill. I then do my resistance training. I do my resistance training first, and then 30 minutes on the treadmill. I eat the same 3 meals that you guys saw in the last video. We're playing it. It is the wraps, the 4 wraps I'm eating my pumpkin meal, and I'm eating my ice cream every day. And then I go to bed at the same time and I sleep 7 hours. I've hit my steps, I've hit my macros, I've hit my sleeping hours, and I trained. Those 4 things. I do that every day, and I promise you, you will lose your belly fat. It'll all be gone. So shut down the noise, focus up, and I'm rooting for you. I want to see you win in 2025. Again, don't forget, all I want you to do is comment down below, what was your why in the beginning, and how did that result in a win? How did you finally lose your belly fat? Because it's up to you to be able to motivate the next person. People are going to go in the comments, and people are going to see, is this stuff the real deal? Is it true? And if you share your story, you might motivate the next person. I think that's the least you can do. I'll leave the video here. I'm rooting for you. And these 2 videos will tackle the dieting and the cardio and the steps, how to do it exactly if you want more detail. And this video here is amazing for you too. Cheers.